the Temple in Independence, Missouri. Welcome back to CIMM Sessions, our little bite-sized servings of theology, culture, and community of Christ, identity, mission, message, beliefs, and practices. I'm David Lloyd, the director for CIMM, the Center for Innovation for Ministry and Mission from Graceland University and the Community of Christ Seminary. So tonight we have a really good program for you. I have to give a little explanation before we get started. Our speaker is one of our fellow seminarians, Lola Brown from Spain. And if she was to join us here live, it would be at 1 o'clock her time in her home country. And so rather than having her catch the red eye to join us, we decided to record this last weekend. I was in Springfield, Missouri, and had to go to a library to connect. So I apologize for my video portion of this. But we're going to go ahead and start this tonight as Lola Brown talks about working with the church in what has been post-Catholic Spain and how that has affected the ministry of her culture. So let's join this meeting as we did it last weekend.
So welcome. I'm in a library in Springfield, Missouri, and we're sharing today with Lola Brown, who is a seminarian who has been a part of the seminary for how long, Lola?
Oh, how long you said? I don't know, because I started and then I took a break and I resumed, so I don't know.
How far are you away from being done?
Oh, I will graduate December next year. Yes.
Oh, well, so you're almost there.
Yes, almost there. Yes.
Well, Lola Brown is joining us from where in Spain, Lola?
I'm in the south of Spain, in Rota, close to Cadiz. Seville, probably Seville is more known, better known in the world. So, but it's in the south. I will explain a little bit later.
Okay. Okay. Well, Lola is going to be sharing with us today about Community of Christ in post-Catholic Spain. So, Lola, go ahead and get started.
Well, thank you very much. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you, David, and to the Center for Innovation in Ministry and Mission for this beautiful opportunity to share with you today. It is truly an honor to be part of the seminary sessions and to contribute to this vibrant community of theological reflection and spiritual exploration. I am especially thankful for the chance to let Spain be known a little bit better within the community of Christ. Spain is a land rich in spiritual history, culture depth, and evolving religious identity. As we explore the theme of Community of Christ in post-Catholic Spain, I hope to offer insights that not only inform but also inspire dialogue about how faith communities can engage meaningfully with changing cultural landscape. Thank you for welcoming me into this space. I look forward to sharing, learning, and growing together during our time today. So I am going to share my screen. Okay. So this presentation is the result of a pastoral spiral social analysis, a method we studied in seminary during the course Contemporary Culture Theologies with Professor Zach Harmon McLaughlin. The pastoral spiral is a theological tool designed to help us clarify, understand, explore, discern, and listen to our specific context. It's not just about gathering information. It's about engaging deeply with the lived experiences of people and allowing that insight to shape our response and mission. In this case, we apply the pastoral spiral to examine the religious and cultural landscape of Spain, particularly in its shift toward a post-Catholic society. By analyzing historical influences, current trends, and the social realities of spiritual seekers, especially those marginalized by traditional religion, we are discerning how Community of Christ can be a healing, inclusive, and hopeful presence. This process empowers us to respond with compassion, creativity, and authenticity. So let's begin by locating Spain on the world map. Spain sits in southwestern Europe on the Iberian Peninsula. All the red countries that you see, they were colonial expansion from Spain. So we were having presence in Africa, North America, South America, well, in some countries, Europe countries, and some countries of Asia. Is where we kind of translate or spread our Catholicism, language, and culture influence. Before we dive deeper into the religious and cultural shifts in Spain, let's zoom a little bit more the country on the map. Spain sits in southwestern Europe, occupying the majority of the Iberian Peninsula, which it shares with Portugal. It's bordered by France, and we said earlier, with Portugal. And also, we can see that we have the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. We have the state of Gibraltar that only separates from Europe, Africa from Europe by just 8 and 7 miles. Okay, and then we zoom even more. The size of Spain covers approximately 195,300 square miles, roughly 1.2 times the size of California, or about the same as California and Oregon combined together. So this is the second largest country in Western Europe after France. And now we know that where Spain is located. Let's talk about our historical context. We had a dictatorship called Francisco Franco from 1939 to 1975. So during his dictatorship, Catholicism was not just the dominant religion, it was the state religion, legally enshrined and institutionally enforced. This period, often referred to as National Catholicism, fused political power with religion authority. The Catholic Church became a pillar of Franco's regime, enjoying privileges and influence that extended into every aspect of public and private life. One of the most striking examples of this religious control was the mandatory registration of newborns. When a child was born, parents were required to register the birth at the civil registry. But in practice, this wasn't enough. To complete the process and receive full legal recognition, families had to present a certificate of Catholic baptism. This meant that baptism wasn't just a religious rite. It was a legal requirement. Without it, a child's identity and rights could be left in limbo. This policy effectively excluded non-Catholic families and forced religious conformity, even among those who didn't personally adhere to Catholic beliefs. Other faiths were either repressed or forced underground. Public worship outside Catholicism was prohibited, and religious minorities had no legal standing. The legacy of this system still lingers. Many Spaniards today associate organized religion with authoritarian control and exclusion and coercion. Even though Spain transitioned to democracy after Franco's death in 1975, and religious freedom was restored, the emotional and cultural impact remains. For many, religion is not seen as a source of spiritual nourishment, but as a symbol of past oppression. This has contributed to the widespread disaffection with institutional religion, especially among younger generations. So let's see some data. This data comes from the Spanish Center for Sociological Research. So according to this center, which is the Spain's official public opinion research institute, over half of Spaniards still identify as Catholic, but only a small portion are practicing. Over 42% say they are non-believers, indifferent, or agnostic. This data reflects a clear trend towards secularization, especially among younger generations. While Catholicism remains the largest religious identity, the majority of Catholics are non-practicing, and nearly half of the population identifies as non-religious in some form. Mandatory Catholicism created a deep association between religion and authoritarian control. For many Spaniards, especially post-Franco's generations like mine, rejecting religion became a way to affirm personal freedom and democratic values. Secularism in Spain isn't just about disbelief, it's often a response to imposed belief. Because the Catholic Church was entwined with state power, it came to symbolize oppression, censorship, and exclusion. Even today, many Spaniards view institutional religion with skepticism, seeing it as political compromise rather than spiritually nourishing. Younger generations who grew up in a democratic and pluralistic Spain often feel disconnected from the religious norms their grandparents were forced to follow. This has led to a sharp rise in non-religious identities, especially among those under 35. So Spain's tradition to democracy brought constitutional secularism, but the culture shift has been slower. Public funding for religious schools, religious symbols in state institutions, and church influence in politics are still debated. The legacy of mandatory religion makes true secular neutrality a work in process. Interestingly, while institutional religion declined, many Spaniards have turned to personal spirituality, mindfulness, or ethical humanism. The vacuum left by enforced Catholicism didn't erase spiritual curiosity, it redirected. In short, Spain's secularism is not just a modern trend, it is a historical reckoning. So, what does this mean for us? What we can do in this Spain? Well, cultural Catholicism still exists and it's good. But it's more a background identity than an active faith. Many people are spiritual seekers. They are looking for meaning, but not necessarily through traditional church structures. We have especially seen this among LGBTIQ+ individuals who've been hurt in the past and in the present by religion. So let's talk about some of the challenges we face today in doing ministry in Spain. First, we are a very small community, and we are few members scattered across the country, which makes it hard to build momentum or organize regular in-person gatherings. We are spread out geographically, and most of us live in towns far from each other. Second, there's a general suspicion or apathy toward organized religion in Spanish society. Many people have been hurt or disappointed by religious institutions, so they are cautious about anything that looks like church. Third, we do not have physical spaces to meet regularly. Without a local presence, there's a real risk of becoming invisible. even though our message is deeply needed. But these barriers also invite us to be creative, flexible, and deeply intentional in how we show up as a spiritual community. So, what our faith teaches? Our faith calls us to something deeper. In Doctrine and Covenants 162 reminds us, you are called to create communities of joy, hope, love, and peace. That means everyone is welcome. Jesus met people where they were, in their homes, on the streets, not just in temples. So we have to do the same under our circumstances. Mission is about compassionate presence. So how do we respond? What will be our pastoral action? We know that ministering in Spain is challenging, especially with so few members spread across the country. So what do? We do online ministry, Zoom gatherings, prayer circles, and support groups. That's why we're empowering lay leaders, ordinary members who feel called to serve, to form micro communities. These are small, informal groups that meet online or in person, wherever possible, to pray, share, and support one another. It's not about having a big building or a formal structure. It's about creating spaces where people can experience spiritual connection and community, even if it's just 2 or 3 people gathered in a living room or on Zoom. This approach allows us to be flexible, responsive, and deeply relational in a secular and scattered society. In response to this evolving context, we are launching a theological working group made up of Community of Christ members with Catholic backgrounds. The goal is to collaboratively create a theological resource that speaks directly to the questions and doubts often raised by Catholic seekers, those who are curious, searching, or spiritually wounded. We're deeply grateful that Professors Tony and Charmaine Chaflat-Smith have kindly agreed to oversee the theological and contextual aspect of this project. Their guidance will help ensure that our work is both theologically sound and pastorally sensitive, offering a solid foundation for meaningful dialogue and spiritual growth. We are also start doing this next month seminaries to educate people about LGBTIQ+, I don't know how to say, situation, orientation, life. We have one of our members is a psychologist and a therapist. So he is already organized those seminaries to work with communities, small communities that we have from different countries. We may be few and far apart, but we are called. So even though through online presence and local witness, we can truly be the community of Christ. We are not trying to rebuild the old church. We're creating something new, something rooted in tradition, our community of Christ tradition, compassion, and relevance. And I would like to close saying some quote of Zipperman. A community of right relationships makes what seems impossible possible. And that's our hope. With faith, creativity, and compassion, we can embody Christ's mission, our mission in Spain. Well, I want to leave with the word that our world church, hope, is what sustains us, guide us, and call us forward. And how our president prophet Stacy say, on guard, adelante, on avant. We are so, I don't know, I don't know the word. I cannot express, but it's give us hope and to keep going onward and adelante. Thank you.
But thank you so much for sharing with us, Lola. This is really interesting, and I see a number of parallels um, of things that are going on here in the West, also in regard to how churches is finding its place. First of all, I noticed a lot of similarities between what Europe and Spain and the US trends are generationally in how we connect. The move from being loyal to an organization to being spiritually connected is the most important thing that people are looking for. But I was interested in the history after Franco's reign. With Catholics being the state religion in Spain, which Americans and Canadians don't experience that so much. But there definitely would have been dissatisfaction with the political climate. And so how much of that was dissatisfaction with the change from being a state religion to being dissatisfaction with the Catholic faith or the centralized power of a church? How did people process through that?
Well, I really believe that hurt very deep to the Catholic, the real Catholic, because it creates an association between that being Catholic equals the belong to the political idea of being agree with the dictator. So for years now, little by little, this is changing. But for years, it was that disassociation between Catholic faith, and because it was linked to being with this political how can I say it? Political situation. So
Right.
I express myself. So, and now it's not like the Spaniards, we do not have faith or we are not believers. Is that we kind of refuse everything that sounds like church. So sometimes when I said my church, it was like, oh, it's well, my community. I have to use some type of synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
But well, this is,
And I imagine that especially if it's dogmatic, if it's top-down leadership, those kind of things would be seen as suspect and probably well serving the people to fear that and look at that as being something negative. And so you can see some things in the organizational structure of Community of Christ that would move in that direction to be a non-dogmatic church, but we still have the organization and the centralized power that people would fear. And I know that probably is something you have to make secondary as you introduce people to the church.
that was a question.
Yeah. So did the Protestant religions prosper for a while after the overthrow of the?
Well, in Spain is strong. The evangelists is the second religion in my country.
Evangelical.
Evangelical, yes,
Yeah.
evangelical. So, but they have their own expression and it's becoming strong in Spain. Yes.
So has being a part of evangelical churches slowed down recently as a result of people also recognizing that that does or doesn't work
Correct.
for them?
There were a time that evangelical kind of took over, and now it's kind of more weighing down a little bit. And I don't have data right now to show this with me. But so now what the Spanish in general are moving into more spiritual, like the Buddhism is taking a lot of place on more spiritual than dogmatic. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Or more
And
spiritual than religious. So,
yeah. And it's the same here too. For a lot of people. Yes. So tell me a little bit more now as your congregations are going have almost always been virtual for the most part in Community of Christ there.
we have a community in Madrid from Philippines, beautiful family, beautiful people. And however, they speak English mainly. So it's difficult kind of to redirect people to them, seekers, when because the language barrier. We are people scattered throughout Spain, and we have an ongoing community in Cuevas, which is near to Granada. Mainly, they are members from Honduras. So, this is what we have. But mainly, we provide support online, and we get together online. So, yes.
Yeah, we find that in many places in the United States that as congregations close, people are connecting in a similar fashion. So actually, what you have been doing for a long time, many of our congregations are learning to do right now. So what have you learned that helps keep some of your people connected to each other?
Well, even though we do not, once in a while, we have to do some physical retreat. We used to do it one per year, but now it's been a couple of years that the last one, it was 2 years ago. But what we have learned that the Spirit is there when 1, 2, or 3 people are together. So no matter what, no matter how, the Spirit is there with us. So, and we are giving us support with each other. We really miss the church and the gatherings. So I just came from Norway because I feel I need to feel members once in a while close to me from Community of Christ. But I feel very connected with online with the members. And we have a great support from the Mission Center, so in Europe. And Michael is always, he knows what is going on in Spain. Wayne, the Mission Center presidents we have 4 in Europe. So they are very in touch always with us. So.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned some work in dealing with those who are post-Catholic in your area. What strategies do you use that connects people who have been dissatisfied with where their faith has been and are seekers?
Well, the word strategy sounds to me kind of manipulative. And you see, this is my background. It's like, ooh, nothing that sounds manipulative. We cannot use any word or because it's the legacy that we have from these post-Catholic things. But right now we are working in creating a group about putting together a resource for the church, so we can provide answers for people who come from the Catholic background. They have a lot of questions, and questions that we should be ready to respond. Questions about, and pretty much theologically. So why our church has apostles? why our church has a president. What is the meaning of, the presidency, the woman president, a person that belongs to the. So we should be ready to. What about the Holy Spirit or the La Trinidad? So a lot of questions that probably other people don't ask, but the Spanish people and the Catholic people, Italian as well, will ask. So we are working together in creating resources to really provide an answer with theologically and consistency. And also, in my way that I provide ministry, and now I'm talking personally, and I'm sure some of the members, they do pretty much the same. We need to not to sound dogmatic at all. So we just be. We don't have to. If we talk a lot, it's worse. So just let our actions to speak for us. That's the only way. And
it's not combating against a religion. It's making connections with people and knowing where they're coming from, right?
Correct. Creating spaces that everybody feels safe and everybody feel valued, and that everyone, absolutely everyone is welcome to our table. And that is the only way, is to speak. Our actions let us speak for us. So, and not talk. Don't talk too much.
Yeah. So one question I'd like to ask the seminarians who are either going through or have just finished seminary, what was the experience like for you? What is one thing that you gained from it that was really helpful for you?
Oh, it is so awesome. I struggle a lot. I struggle having a hard time. I write the professor, say I cannot do this. But it is a life-changing for me, because I cannot believe that it is so complete. It is so broad, and it's so. I am making peace with my history, with my own history. We just finished studying the medieval all the way up to the 15th century. I can't wait to start in January to move forward from the 15th century until, I believe, the 20th century. So I don't know. So I'm learning so much, and I'm making peace with everything that I learned when I was younger. But now, really understanding, when you understand the history, when you learn about the history, it gives you see the current life from a different point of view, from a different perspective. You understand so many things, and I am so happy, so blessed. To me, I couldn't believe that I was so good. When I started, I had to take a break, but because it's too much. It's too much reading, too much thinking, too much writing. But I am so happy. So I really, I kind of say that I will invite everyone who could do it, that do it. So.
Well, you can't get a better endorsement than that. Well, Lola, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so very
across
much.
the ocean. It's amazing that we can even have this kind of discussion, but I'm sure there are a number of people who will appreciate it and share that in our meeting on Wednesday. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Okay, bye-bye.